It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview John Bradford, who is the North Carolina FC head coach for soccer. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Brandon. I appreciate you having me on.
Can you talk about your coaching experience and how you got started in the professional soccer?
Yeah, I started coaching after I had been playing for several years. It was probably, I don't know, almost 20 years ago when my college career was coming to an end. And the assistant coach that I'd had at Furman University began coaching in West Texas with the Dallas Texans. And he had asked me if I wanted to come out and help. So started coaching youth soccer out there, coached a little bit at University of Texas at Permian Basin, moved from Texas back to North Carolina where I'd grown up. I started coaching with Castle in 2005, which is now NCFC Youth. And then about 3 years ago, had the opportunity to work with the professional team with Dave Sarachan was the head coach, became the assistant coach in the pro game. And then this will be my first season as the head coach.
Can you talk about, of course, your time with the Dallas Texans Club?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, being a young coach who was trying to learn his way and then doing it with such a reputable youth soccer club was a great experience, and I had a friend of mine from college that I played with at Furman University, and Anthony Esquivel, and he and I basically lived out there and tried to learn how to coach youth soccer while in West Texas, which is maybe not a youth soccer hotbed, but more so a youth high school football type hotbed. So it was an interesting time, but I think really important for us to kind of find our way as young coaches.
What was your time like at UT Permian as the assistant coach?
Yeah, no, that was another really important kind of learning experience that I had. Was the assistant coach with the men's program and the women's program, and at that time UTPB was NAIA was the classification, and so with that there was various ages of players that were in the teams. Some that were 18-year-old freshmen, some that were 35 years old, and the range of ages was interesting. But for me as a 22, 23-year-old young coach, it was great to get involved with the college game and kind of learn more about how that operated.
Can you talk about, of course, your time as the assistant coach for a pro USL North Carolina football club?
Yeah, being the assistant with Coach Sarachan as the head coach for the last 2 years has been extremely rewarding and educational experience, and I've learned so much from him, and from the club and from the environment and from the USL just kind of in general, which I think has really prepared me to understand kind of how our club's vision is going to change and continue in USL League One, and so I'm excited about the opportunity to continue as a head coach.
What were some of your roles and responsibility as the academy director for North Carolina Football Club?
Sure. Yeah, a lot of different responsibilities in terms of being the academy director at NCFC. And I still am. It's a dual role where I'm the head coach of the pro team and the academy director still for NCFC Youth. And so since 2013 and taking that role, the evolution of the academy program has been really interesting for our club specifically. But basically, it's trying to oversee the development pathways of all of our players, our staff, managing our scheduling, our league participation, identifying what areas that we need to invest in, managing our budgets, figuring out travel logistics, all the while trying to maneuver through what the U.S. Soccer landscape looks like for our players. And so it's been challenging and rewarding. And, I think we've had a great history of player development and players that have come through the academy program.
Who are some of the teams that the pro team plays?
Yeah, so within USL League One this year, our most regional competition will be against Greenville Triumph, will be against Richmond Kickers, South Georgia Tormenta are kind of the closest ones. Then, Chattanooga Red Wolves. So there's several teams within the league, but those are primarily the ones that are closest to us.
What is it like coaching at WakeMed Soccer Park?
Well, I think, in speaking my own personal opinion, but I think I could speak for the players as well. It's a special place. I think once the you see the quality of the complex and the fields, the facility overall, I think it brings an extra kind of intangible value to the training and match environment. So, during these times when we can't have full capacity or more fans because of COVID and everything, I think the players and staff certainly can still enjoy the atmosphere, but certainly we look forward to getting the fans back in the stadium and welcome them back to WakeMed.
What is a typical game day like at WakeMed?
Yeah, I mean, assuming it's an evening game, a 7 p.m. kickoff is kind of around the usual time, and so throughout the day, players will be getting themselves ready and eating the right things and resting and getting mentally prepared, and the staff will be looking at film and making sure that we're all organized and prepared for our game plan, for ourselves and our opponent. Arrive to the stadium couple hours beforehand, and then it's kind of an anxious waiting time to actually take the field, get warm-ups, come back inside, do all the kind of organization of when do you walk on the field, when do the TV cameras need to be switched on, all that kind of stuff. But then ultimately just looking forward to when it's kickoff.
Can you talk about the culture that you have helped build for the North Carolina Football Club?
Yeah, I don't know if I've helped build it, but I feel lucky to have been a part of a lot of good people that have, whether it's staff, players, or whatever, that have come through the organization on both sides, the youth and the pro. And I think again, we have something special within the club, where there's a community feeling behind it. It's got all the components to be successful with the youth club and the professional atmosphere. So I think that specifically when we're looking at staff at the youth side and the pro side, when we're looking at certain players to bring in, that culture is part of it, and having some positivity and understanding kind of what they're a part of is very important too.
When it comes to having the pro team in North Carolina, how important is it for North Carolina to have a professional soccer team when they have like professional football and basketball and just now bringing on a baseball team?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I mean, there's been professional soccer in various parts of North Carolina for many years. Obviously, for us in the Triangle, this marks about 30 years of professional soccer that continues. And obviously there's professional soccer in other areas of North Carolina. But for us specifically, I think, there's not a better hotbed of soccer, whether it's youth, high school, college, professional, all within the Triangle area here. So I know we're all proud to be a part of it.
What is something that you learned now that you didn't know before becoming the head coach?
Well, we're still in the roster building part of things, and haven't actually coached a training session or coached a game yet, preseason or regular season. So there's a lot more to learn. But right now it's understanding the responsibility that our staff has to the fans and the community and the club to try to get the roster build right. And start that process of planning towards the season. But I will say, as we're going through it, it's been remarkable how much support there is from North Carolina FC, and how many players out there that either want to remain as part of the club or interested in becoming part of the club. So just in this short time since I've been the head coach, it's been really refreshing and exciting.
What are some things that you plan on accomplishing in your first year?
Well, I think that, there's a long list, but I think specifically on the short list, our club vision is now to play more younger players, especially our academy players, who've earned the opportunity to get on the field. So I'm extremely excited and looking forward to that, and giving players their opportunities to earn professional matches and minutes. I'm looking forward for our team to be competitive, and play games and kind of set the tone for how this new look of North Carolina FC will be. And ultimately, I think we want to engage with the community, engage with our fans, and kind of have a new setup for how we're going about things. So there's a lot of things to accomplish, but I think on the short term, it's providing a platform from young players, being competitive, and engaging with the community and fans.
What advice would you give upcoming coaches looking to coach in professional soccer or even professional sports in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think people get to the professional game in different ways. A lot of coaches played professionally for many years, and they make an easy transition into how they're coaching in the professional game. For me specifically, it's been a steady kind of climb in terms of opportunity of different levels. and ultimately getting to the professional game. So what I would say to young coaches is engage in everything and they can, learn as much as they can, never feel like they have it figured out, because they don't. Neither do I, but just really kind of immerse themselves in as many opportunities that they can get their hands on, and then, kind of be motivated, within the process, to try to get where they want to get to.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with, of course, North Carolina Soccer FC at?
Yeah, I mean, I think North Carolina FC's got a lot more social platforms than I do. I think they're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and I'm pretty sure it's all at North Carolina FC place that you can find for the pro team, and for at NCFC_youth, with those same platforms, I believe, for the youth side. And then for me specifically, I've got one Twitter handle that for many years I never said a word and just followed a whole bunch of stuff and did that. But then, now I'd like to have a voice in terms of supporting the guys that we're signing and people that have been within the team, and as well as a partnership with the academy. So I'm at JP Bradford 65 for Twitter. And I think that's it for all our social stuff.
Thank you again, Coach John, for your interview, and best of luck in this upcoming season.
Thank you so much, Brandon. I really enjoyed it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach, for your interview, and best of luck.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.